In recent years, as many as 25% of all drug arrests in Kentucky involve methamphetamine, and police say it's more dangerous and destructive than any other drug they deal with. Users are hooked almost immediately, and getting away from it can be nearly impossible. Tonight, we meet two men who are well on their way to kicking the addiction, but know they may be paying the consequences for the rest of their lives.
I love my wife and kids and parents more than anything in the world, but I would walk away from them in a second for this drug, and I did.
Robert Summers is now 250 miles away from his family, trying to get to a point where he'll once again be a good son, husband, and father. Since May, the Western Kentucky native has lived at Chad's Hope, a Christian-based drug rehabilitation center in Clay County. He got hooked on meth more than 10 years ago and spent the first part of every paycheck buying the drug. He lost his sawmill business, his self-respect, and nearly all hope.
I thought I was cursed. I actually thought this was something I would have to live with for the rest of my life.
It's a feeling shared by fellow housemate Derek Marlowe.
I felt so weak.
Who says meth destroyed his marriage and his relationship with his 10-year-old daughter. A year ago, he wasn't welcome in his mother's London home.
I was homeless. I drove my vehicle to the scrapyard for money because I was broke, and I have anywhere pretty much just the clothes on my back.
Both men have a lot of time to reflect as they do their assigned chores at Chad's Hope. Derek says he knows why he and so many others found meth attractive.
I think it's because people look for acceptance from people, and if you have drugs or if you have meth, then everybody that does that wants to be around you.
Here at this peaceful mountain lodge, it may seem like troubles would be far away, but the recovering addicts say they can't move forward without looking back.
You know, it's fun at first. It feels great. You know, it feels like you're on top of the world. And then it comes a point where you have to have it. You depend on it to go to work. You depend on it to get out of bed. You depend on it for everything. And then you don't have anything and you still need it. It's a terrible drug and when it grabs a hold of you, you slowly become something that you don't even know.
Officials with Operation Unite, a drug task force, say they'd like to round up every meth user and maker, but they much prefer keeping them in rehab centers than jails.
For way too long, we've tried to wrest our way out of this problem, the drug epidemic. And what this shows us is there are other alternatives. Sure, we have to continue arresting, but what do we do with them after we get them arrested?
Both men are about halfway through a year-long treatment program, making plans for the future. Summers wants to be a missionary.
I know the success rate's not very high, but you're looking at one. You can come back and find me in a year. You may have to go overseas to find me, but you're going to have a success right here.
My mom's my #1 supporter now. She's always here on visits. She's always, encouraging me, and she told me she was proud of me one time, and it's just, wow, how did I get from what I was to her being proud of me? And it's pretty amazing.
Both men have been in rehab long enough now to be allowed weekend passes and to have visitors. They spend a lot of that time talking to young people about the dangers of trying meth.
Marvin, how much money did they say that they were spending on their habit?
About $50 to $100 a day, so you can understand how very quickly they were using up their savings, selling everything they had. Then they turned to making the meth, selling drugs, and to stealing. So it was a very rapid downward spiral.
Thank you, Marvin.